Hello and welcome back to the Phasecast. Today, we will be talking about the new Spider-Man movie. So if you haven't seen it and you don't want it spoiled for you,
get the fuck out of here, dude.
This is
a
not
spoiler-filled
this is not the day for you.
episode of the Phasecast, full of spoilers, left and right spoilers. We got spoilers over there. We got spoilers over there. And they're gonna start in 5, 4, 3. You have a chance to leave. 2, 1.
Spider-Man.
They killed Aunt May! We have two different priorities of jokes, I see. I don't even care about jokes right now. They killed Aunt May.
So
that...
hold on. That felt like a realer thing than what happens in most Marvel movies. Like, that was pretty intense for a Marvel movie, and I liked it.
Yep, that was the most Spider-Man movie.
Yeah.
All the Spider-Man movies. From the weird comedy bits to the immediately somehow super serious to the hopefulness that is Peter Parker. It was the most Spider-Man movie, and it's my favorite Spider-Man movie.
It is
hands down.
It is not only the greatest Spider-Man movie, but possibly the greatest Marvel movie. Probably one of the better action movies I have seen in general. I loved it. I loved it so much.
Its success is only because there was 2 other Spider-Man franchises before it.
That is true. It does require a lot of back knowledge.
Although it didn't need to be honest. It did hit harder, but it didn't need to. I guess let's start from the fucking beginning. You want to talk about like a quick synopsis, or as quick as we can?
Well, Spider-Man is known as Spider-Man. Peter Parker. They come for him. Happy has broken up with Aunt May, which is very important.
That was sad. Happy.
The Lizard's there. Octopus is there. Man. And Doctor Strange did it, but he didn't do it. It was Spider-Man's fault.
Okay, so we pick up our story immediately from Spider-Man Far From Home, where we have cancel culture and bullshit immediately attacking Spider-Man. Your sweater.
What?
It's lighting up. Sorry.
Oh yes.
I just noticed it was doing that.
It's for people viewing this on YouTube. It's Spider-Man shooting Christmas lights.
Yep. Anyway, he gets blamed and framed. It looks like J. Jonah Jameson was filming the Daily Bugle out of a basement, and he upgraded later on in the movie.
Yeah, they sort of did that very, very abruptly. He got a pretty big upgrade, but I guess it's probably because he got a ton of notoriety for
Yeah, but how did he have? When you think about it, how did he have the ability to get on Times Square immediately after when it looked like he was just filming from the basement?
If you question anything about the quality of this incredible movie, I will explode.
Did you see when they were swinging with MJ, which was hilarious, by the way. There was, Rogers the Musical.
So, no, I didn't. What do you mean?
There was a billboard for Rogers the Musical.
I noticed Rogers the Musical in the credits. That must be why.
Yeah. There was a billboard for it. That's all we got. Anyway, it's also happening. This all happens like during Christmas, I believe.
Well, maybe in November. But let me say, before you get further than just the very beginning of the movie, that was such great to see somebody react appropriately to having to swing around with Spider-Man. was just immediately. I mean, that happened in like the first 5 minutes. I was like, oh, yes, that was cool.
That was good. Also, to see how trash people would be reacting. Like, that woman reaching for his mask, him flying away. He's like, oh, he hit me. See, he hit me. Even though there's about 1,000 people recording him.
So in preparation for this movie, I watched 6 of them. I didn't get to Far From Home, but I watched the rest of them. And I think it's in Spider-Man 2, yeah, when he like stops the train and he's got his mask off and the people on the train lift him and they're like, oh, here he is. And they lay him down and they're like, we won't tell anyone. I was like, that would never happen in real life.
Oh, not in today's society. Well, back then, yeah. Back then people didn't have. Back then, people didn't have a shit ton of. They didn't have cell phones and everything taking pictures.
True. That's true.
Now,
That's a good point.
now we see the contrast where it's like everybody's got their phones out. Everybody's on TikTok. Gets heavily.
I don't know though. I feel
heavily influenced in Spider-Man.
Even back in 2004, there'd be at least one dick on that train that was like trying to take his flesh for money. Because I just do not believe that a group of people is capable of doing the right thing.
We can't talk about suspension of disbelief in a Spider-Man movie if
that's
you can't
true.
do the thing. We
That's
just
true.
said that. So you shut the fuck up.
No. So you're right. J. Jonah Jameson got a big fancy studio out of frickin' nowhere.
Somehow, because he got the one thing. Anyway, then we see the ramifications. We see that Ned needs to shut the fuck up.
Yeah, that was... So that scene where Ned is confessing.
I did first.
Daredevil is there.
Yes. Okay. Wow. Yeah. That was great. Daredevil's there. I don't know if you saw this. Spoilers for Hawkeye, the series.
Oh,
everybody.
I haven't, but I don't really mind.
Kingpin was in Hawkeye.
Oh, cool. Oh, yeah, so they're really setting that up.
And here's the thing. Hawkeye is happening during Christmas time where Rogers the musical is like going on. I think this is all happening simultaneously. Which is great.
Well, they put the shield on the.
That fell. Yeah, that fell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have they mentioned that in Hawkeye at all?
Nah.
Okay.
Anyway, Hawkeye is more centralized in a very small capacity, whereas Spider-Man's dealing with a lot of bullshit. Okay. So we've got Spidey wanting to change everything because he just wants, he wants everything. He wants 2 lives in 1. Right? And this has always been Spider-Man's biggest, fight. Is that he lives as Spider-Man, he lives as Peter Parker. And we've never seen them come at odds. We haven't seen Tom Holland's Spider-Man come at odds when it comes to Spider-Man and Peter Parker.
Having to merge the two.
Yeah. So when everything is exposed and, I really like that we see that this Spider-Man knows teamwork. He has friends. He has a support base. And of course, in every version of Spider-Man, that can't be allowed to happen. That Spider-Man is not allowed to have consistency in friends. Sorry, I'm skipping way ahead, but fuck.
Oh, as far as Aunt May goes?
As far as everything. He loses everything.
That's true. He does lose everything.
Literally everything. But he has exactly no one and lives in a shit apartment.
That was a pretty smart lead-in for the next 3 movies, though.
No. I mean, okay, it is the most accurate version of Spider-Man now. It is this version of of Peter Parker has nobody, is a struggling, very intelligent person in a shitty apartment in New York.
Yeah.
With a suit he made himself.
I'm so happy about that. So at the end of the movie, he does make his own suit because he no longer has the Iron Man tech, which it is shiny, huh? But
he's like the shiniest fabric. It's probably the cheapest, shiniest fabric you could get.
It's like he got it from the fucking Joann's. Yeah. I like that though, because if there is one, I mean, it's not a criticism. He had to rely on other people in those movies because he's supposed to be 15. But it is going to be nice to see Spider-Man really be. You're right. That's the purest form of Spider-Man. He's doing it on his own. He's struggling because that's another thing. So in the Raimi trilogy, they talk a lot about the potential that Peter has to be smart, but he doesn't.
Oh, he is smart. No, he is smart.
I mean, he is, but he's successful. Not. But he's not successful. He doesn't make the web shooters. He's not
Well, he doesn't have to do that.
I mean, I know, but he never has an opportunity to display his talent, and I feel like now, and that's part of the struggle is getting there for him, being able to use his intelligence, and that now I think is going to be part of Tom Holland's struggle as Spider-Man.
Oh no!
Because you saw him with the book, like for his GED and everything.
Yeah, his
it was
GED
like
book. Yeah,
that was good.
Like because they erased everything.
Yeah,
Peter Parker doesn't exist.
Watch him get
does
into
he
MIT
have a social
anyway.
Does he have a social security fucking number? Is he off the grid? Off the grid? How'd he get this apartment? It's New York. Never mind. It's New York. They can get random apartments anywhere. It's crazy.
It's a great setup too, because now you can move
it hurts
on.
Me.
Well, but now you can move on with the MCU also without ever having to acknowledge Spider-Man again.
Except he's gonna be part of the MCU still. Like, hard is he part of the MCU?
Yeah,
like,
maybe.
He's
I don't
not
know.
like no, he's not in a different New York. We did this last time. He's not in a different New York. He's in the same fucking New York. He's doing Spider-Man shit in New York.
Right, but
he's...
No, it's the same New York, but I do think, I mean, it seems, because what's happening now is that Sony is reclaiming the property for these next 3 movies.
You're so stupid.
What?
You're so stupid, Eric. I love you, but you're so stupid.
No.
We see we see the goddamn Vulture in the Morbius trailer. You're so stupid.
But Morbius is a Sony movie. They've now
but not Vulture. The Vulture. I'm gonna kill you.
But what I would predict is going to happen is that you are not going to see Vulture in like Doctor Strange. You're not going to see Vulture in...
Why? Because he's a Spider-Man villain. Yeah, but he's part of the MCU still as a large whole.
I'm saying...
The connection is still there.
Yeah, the connection has now been established,
back.
And they're going to continue that as far as like... But it's going to still be more separate. They're not going to have Doctor Strange acknowledge Spider-Man. They're not going to have She-Hulk acknowledge Spider-Man. They will have the Vulture acknowledge Spider-Man in a Sony movie, who is part of the universe, but they're not, I don't think, going to have those intersect in the same way anymore.
The fact that you think that they're never going to do that again is ridiculous, and we don't have enough time for me to berate your stupidity. So we're going to keep talking about Spider-Man instead.
Wait.
Anyway. Nope, don't look at something else. We're talking about the movie.
All right, fine.
Focus on the movie. We got 45 minutes. We're hard capping 45 minutes.
All right, fine.
Damn it.
We were both a little wrong about Venom.
No, he showed up.
Right, but he didn't become the last Sinister
He
Six.
was the 6th member of the villains there.
In like bar in Mexico.
Yeah, he got, so what? He got brought somewhere else. He was the 6th member.
No.
You said he wasn't going to be in the movie.
Listen.
You said he wasn't going to be in the movie.
Right, and you said that
Guess
he was going to be
fucking showed up?
Last member of the Sinister Six.
Yeah, he was.
He was
the
in
Sinister Six wasn't all attacking Spider-Man.
All right.
The Sinister Six were the 6 people who got brought into the universe.
Yes, Joe, you're right. He is the 6th member.
Hey. Let's talk about how little Venom suit was left. Let's talk about how we're gonna get Venom. Venom.
So I hope
another Venom.
I hope that they do the black suit Spider-Man story justice finally, because
it'd be the good time to do it. It'd be a good time. Spider-Man's in his darkest spot right now.
Yeah, he's very troubled. He needs some support.
As soon as he was walking up to where MJ worked to be like, I'm gonna talk to her, I was like, he's not gonna do it. He's going to be stupid Peter Parker. He's going to be like, I have to protect her. And of course they do the thing where she does this and, she's injured there. And it's like, no.
I know.
Damn it.
He could have at least asked her on a date or something.
If only other Spider-Man had told him that it works out with his MJ. Damn it.
But he wasn't really clear on whether it did or didn't.
It did. He said they made it work.
Yeah, he said it's complicated,
He said it's complicated, but then he literally said, but we make it work.
Yeah, I guess so.
That's right after he said it's complicated.
It would have been...
Okay, so let's talk about how Tom Holland fixed every other Spider-Man's problems but his own. Because fuck, he literally helped everybody else but himself.
That was the theme of the movie. That is the most
Spider-Man thing in the fucking world.
And acceptable because, 1, yeah, he would do that, and 2, he's got more time. He's got more movies to figure it out.
Even then, it's like let's say if we take a look at this version of Peter Parker, he doesn't get a break. Ever.
No, it's pretty nonstop.
Uncle Ben,
it's awesome.
Dead. Iron Man, dead. Aunt May, dead.
Dr. Strange can't remember him.
Everyone who loves and cares about him doesn't know him anymore.
Yeah.
Like, doesn't at all. Ned was magic.
I like that. I think that was a pretty interesting setup. I'm not sure where they're going to take that, but I hope that...
Nowhere now, because he forgot it. Nowhere. Now he's just an MIT
You're right.
kid.
He's just an MIT kid. He doesn't know that he's magic anymore.
Doesn't know.
They'll ring him back in. They're not just going to... Zendaya is like a sensation. They're not going to just cut Zendaya
No, but they have to do the whole, like, try to re-spark memory thing. Or maybe
somehow.
Just redo the whole love story. It's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard.
I don't know exactly how they're going to do it. But, what was I going to say about... the Gwen Stacy thing. So...
Okay, I want to... Ooh, we're jumping everywhere. Can we... Let's have some sort of structure.
Right,
let's talk about how he... Let's talk about the villains.
All right, you want to talk about the villains?
Spider-Man. Let's talk about the villains. Let's talk about the Spider-Man. So I'm gonna freak out if we do the Spider-Man first.
Green Goblin.
He's last. He's last.
Why?
Because he's the last one who's not. I want. Let's talk about. Okay. How about I lead it? Because I feel like because we're gonna jump if you do it.
All right.
And it kills me that we jump.
All right.
Let's start with Doc Ock.
So it made the most sense that Dr. Octopus was the easiest to redeem.
Yeah.
And I like that a lot.
Absolutely. So Doc Ock shows up, does his Doc Ock thing. He's literally right after. It's literally right during Spider-Man 2. All the villains show up right before their penultimate destruction. Except for Flint, because he wasn't. This is way after. He's fine.
Yeah, he's just a ball of sand.
Yeah, he's just a Sandman. But we have literally Doc Ock looking for his machine. We thought, remember when we watched the trailer, we thought that like him gaining that red robot arm was like, oh no, this is bad. And then it just turned into like, and now Peter Parker has control of the arms.
I like that.
And he was just so Peter Parker. He's like, oh. He's like, stop it, no, I don't want to. I am in control.
I liked how absolutely dramatic Alfred Molina played it too.
Alfred Molina is so goddamn good. He's a national treasure. He was
really,
like always turned to the side, doing weird.
He really understood. He was like, no, I'm from a much more dramatic Spider-Man universe, and I need to play it that way, and that worked so well.
It was such a good tease to like see like the pumpkin bomb roll, and then Doctor Strange's like, no. We have to go here. Yeah. You're doing this now. Here's a magic armlet. Go get the others.
Yeah.
Go do. I caught this thing, and then there's the lizard being as useful as he always is.
I think
caught off screen.
Humor-wise, they utilized each one of them very well.
Absolutely great. Jamie Foxx.
And they redeemed Electro.
His character.
That, I'll tell you, is of all of the Spider-Man movies, one of the strangest aspects to me. I guess I haven't read like every Spider-Man thing, but as far as I know, I can't think of a version of Electro where he's like this snivelly guy.
Weird lisp.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. It was weird. I don't know why they did that.
It was really weird. I don't mind as much that he was blue. Like, I guess who cares?
Literally...
But his personality was so weird.
Peter couldn't have done any of this without fucking his friends. And it's so hard that now he has to be on his own. But when you think about all the scenes leading up, it's always been like MJ and Ned helping him do all this shit and figuring stuff out. I mean, Ned's the one who fucking finds the other two.
Wait, the villains, Joe.
I know. So I went to Electro, right? Electro comes... And during the Electro fight, we just get Sandman helping out. I thought it was going to be a creepy Sandman, like, monster thing. Like, it wasn't going to be Flint, just because of the way they did it.
And Thomas Hayden Church shows up. I thought,
he does.
Well, he's completely CGI. Rice Ifans, or however you pronounce that, they both were there.
Yeah, it was super cool.
What the fuck? That's
super cool. But yeah, we have Electro, who's very powerful at this point. Like, his webs goes right through him. He does the weird teleporting electric thing. And then Sandman, who's a very good counter to Electro, is just like, hey, Peter. Like, he knows it's Peter. He's like, what's going on? How can I help? Because I am not a bad guy. I am not a villain. Yeah, I just want to go home, please. Yeah, I have a daughter.
But he still is like, reasonably untrusting. Which
Oh
was,
yeah, especially because it was like, you're not my Peter. I don't know you. I don't know any of you. I just want to go home.
And maybe I missed it, but I feel it was a missed opportunity to not make glass. Because he was hitting the side of Sandman with electricity, and I thought, wouldn't it be cool if Sandman turned into glass at least
like
partially?
Some parts of his glass. There's a lot of CGI that went into the budget. A lot of money went into this movie.
We don't have time for another element.
We don't have time for that. We have time for sand swirling around electricity 2 times in this movie. It was cool. That's it.
It looked nice too.
It was super cool.
It looked
I like
good.
How like Jamie Foxx was like the power, like his explanation, like the power is different in this universe.
That was nice.
I'm normal. You don't pretend I'm just that buck ass naked. I'm trying really hard not to. Like, it's just so Spider-Man. Even the villains are like campy and jokey, and I'm like, this is great. Spider-Man grabs like a fireman suit. Here, you put this on, and we see them both get set and captured.
So about Electro too, I think it was, so first off, they showed him blue at the very beginning, and then they did the thing where they were like, oh, the power's different. But also I think they handled it really well as far as like making sure that he still was the same character, because they did acknowledge that he wanted to be seen, that Spider-Man didn't notice him, but in a way that was much more reasonable and more just about his ego.
It was literally right at that part of the movie when he was just getting a bunch of power. That's where they pulled him from.
Yeah, but they just because it was still the same character, but they made him so much cooler. He was so much cooler.
Yeah.
Because in Amazing
this is
Spider-Man
about redemption.
2, in Amazing Spider-Man 2, he says, "It's my birthday, and now it's time to light my candles," and then he shocks something, and I hate that.
He was still that. A little bit. He was still that. He definitely was.
I mean, yeah, but not. So that's the thing you mentioned. Oh, they're like kind of campy and cheesy or whatever, corny, but in a very reasonable, well executed way that never made me go, ugh, I didn't like that.
Yeah, but guess what? Sometimes people are and you just need to accept that. They're not always the correct camp, because that's what camp is. Camp is hitting and missing.
I mean, listen, you can defend Blue Electro all you want, but that line was dumb.
I mean, Blue Electro still had some camp in them. Those Spider-Man movies weren't bad.
No, you know what? Because I watched them just the other day. I liked them even more than I remember liking them, and much more than Spider-Man 3. Oh my god.
Well, yeah, that's not hard.
That was my baseline going into this movie. I was like, if it is better than Spider-Man 3, I will be happy. And it was
like going into No Way Home. You're like, if this is better than Spider-Man 3, well then it was always gonna be. You were always gonna be happy. Anyway,
Spider-Man 3 is very bad.
Then Sandman and Electro happen at once, right?
Yeah.
Like we can safely say that, and then Lizard happened off screen.
Yeah, he sort of just
he's an incredible doctor in my world.
They still utilize. I think they utilize him the least, but they still utilize him very well.
Yeah, they utilize him the least, but he does his thing. He talks, and they were all afraid of it when it happened. It was a good bit.
It was nice to see him.
Although they did everything they needed to do. I know it wasn't a good Lizard. That's why they even kept it in shadow still.
Like, don't look at me.
A little bit in shadow.
Don't look at me. I look weird. Sorry, he was in the truck too, and he was just in shadows.
Willem Dafoe.
So Willem Dafoe was vicious in this movie. He was fucking vicious in this movie.
He was both in this movie, and it was so good.
Yeah.
We see him fighting Green Goblin. We see him shatter the Power Ranger mask.
Yeah.
That was so cool. And then
he had a little Kylo Ren moment.
He said, "Spider-Man comes here," and he's literally just a crazy dude who's like, "I don't know what happened. What happened when I was gone?" And it's so like, fuck, that's good. Because that is that version of Green Goblin. Like, and then we do see Aunt May forcing that. He makes a good point. Aunt May definitely forced, like, no. We take care of people onto Peter.
Yeah, so it was nice to see her follow through with that even after the Green Goblin had injured her.
It did get her killed.
I know.
It did make Spider-Man's life worse.
I know.
Like, I'm not against it, but, like, Goblin had a point.
I know. It was intense, and that's I think what makes that so great is that it's not a cut and dry like right or wrong thing to do.
It is.
Well, I mean, but like as far as Spider-Man's involvement in it, it was a tough choice for him to make, and it continued to have consequences that he had to deal with. It was a tough
choice until the one thing he learned was that they were all gonna die, and he couldn't let them just die.
Yeah, but I mean, as the story continues on, I mean, with like Aunt May dying, he could have then been like, oh well, we should press the button.
We'll get to that.
But yeah, okay, so Norman Osborn, that added weight to a movie from like 20 years ago. That's incredible. My God, yeah. All this made all of those movies better. I know. Made them better. It's like the Reverse Rise of Skywalker. That movie retroactively makes all of Spider-Man better. It's so crazy. It's so cool.
So we get Crazy Osborn, who is a doctor who helps Spider-Man cure other people while Green Goblin's in the back of his head just kind of like looking through the weird
And that was great lenses. Too that he mentioned that when he came back.
So good. I love that they fixed Doc Ock first. I love how they took care of him.
And then at the end for Dr. Octopus to have that moment with Tobey Maguire's Peter.
Oh, it was so good.
He stands there with Tobey Maguire and is like, Peter, you're all grown up. I was like, oh my God.
How are you doing?
It was so good.
Trying to be better.
I know!
That's just such a... So we go through and we go try to fix all of our villains. And then it turns out, of course, that like the spider sense was on point in this movie. Felt so good that it wasn't just immediate like danger and flipping. It was like something's fucked up, something's wrong. He does that walkout with everybody, and then he just webs Goblin's hand, and he's like, ah, and like the immediate like transformation. And this is fucking just Willem Dafoe going from like Peter to is just so fucking good. Oh, and then you see Electro who just doesn't want to give up the power that he finally has. It becomes this huge fucking fight. And I don't understand Lizard's role in it other than to just be... He's also affected by the transformation. We know that from the prior movie. It's just weird that he's kind of involved in that fight between Green Goblin and him. If only just to be like, I told you! Ha ha! And throws him through a window. And that first fight with Goblin and Tom Holland was so good. Mm-hmm. Just like crashing through like floors of the building, flipping around, like just being insanely brutal. And I love that Goblin's take hasn't changed from the prior movie.
He's consistent.
It's literally just like, we're gods. We have the strength to take it, but you're too weak.
And he says a very similar thing to Peter on the roof of the original Spider-Man, where he's like, well, they're going to turn on you, so just take what you want, basically.
Yep.
And that was very good. Good.
Why did Aunt May fucking stay? We gotta talk about the Aunt May death scene.
That was intense. And really, I mean, strayed from the general like level of intensity that Marvel movies often have, I feel like. And it was smart to do that. It was a really powerful fucking... That was sad. It's very sad.
Yeah. And it was with the glider, too.
Oh, I know.
The glider stabs her, and then you don't even notice she stabbed until he's like, ugh.
It was like a big circle for the Green Goblin.
We even get the whole, like, with great power comes great responsibility thing from May this time. And on her death.
That was something where it was like, okay, that's kind of... They shoehorned that in there, but then when it comes up later with the Spider-Man...
Excuse me?
Well, I mean, it was like, okay, do they have to... No, for a second I was like, do they have to say that? But then they brought it up again with the Spider-Man. It was like, of course they have to fucking say that. Because it's...
The fact that you
binds them together.
Hey, take off that sweater. You don't deserve it. How dare you? We have been waiting for them to say with great power comes great responsibility in this fucking Tom Holland version of Spider-Man forever. And you say, oh, did they have to say it? I'm going to slap you across the internet.
It was an interesting choice to not say it until that point. So I had been like, oh, well, I guess maybe they just won't do it.
No, we need to say it. Of course we need to say it.
What was more important to be said was, I'm something of a scientist myself.
I'm something of a scientist myself.
Or the power of the sun in the palm of my hand, which he said.
No, the power of the sun in the palm of your hand. And it wasn't in the... That was good.
He said it twice.
Yeah. Well, no, he said it 1.5 times.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
It was so good. It was so good.
They really memed it up, but like appropriately.
Yeah, they had to.
I think that was appropriate.
What is your name again? Otto Octavius. No, but really. And then just you get laughed at by a bunch of teenagers, dude.
In his little cage.
In your little magic cage.
That was good. But so Aunt May, yes. Aunt May fucking was but again, it's like I said, it's like that was a moment where like Peter could have then chosen to just bloop them all out. And it was good reasoning to bring the other Spider-Men into it. He
didn't get a choice to. He didn't get a chance to, because his friends, the people who are important to him, stopped him.
Yeah, and the other Spider-Man. And that was something
no, literally he was just going to do it, and they were all going to do it, and then MJ holds it back from him.
Yeah.
And then, if I remember correctly, like, Peter keeps talking, and then the other Peters start talking with him.
He's like crying on MJ's shoulder.
Rooftop.
And then she says, "Oh, we brought some people or something."
Yeah, we brought some people. And then he's like, you're not from here. These guys are your problem. I don't want to hear it. I don't want you to tell me that you understand what I'm going through. He was completely against it. And then he was going to push the button. But it was MJ holding it back and being like, no.
Yeah, but that discussion where you know, they mention with the great power thing and their loss and all of that.
Yeah.
was a way to bring the other Spider-Man in that made it not only cool to see them, but also gave weight to their presence in the story in a way that they didn't necessarily have to do that.
I think they very much had to. I think they very much had to bring, like, to make it, because this is not, up until this point, Tom Holland, Peter Parker, he hasn't had to deal with shit like this.
Yeah.
So, and he hasn't and like, these guys, even though they're darker versions of him, let's be honest, they are darker versions of him because they've killed.
That was out of nowhere. Andrew Garfield was like, and then I just started fucking killing people.
And then I just stopped pulling punches.
I was like, whoa! Really?
Yeah.
All right.
Remember how I don't know if I've talked to you about this, how I wanted, like, that darker Spider-Man?
Yeah.
How, like, who was, like, I stopped pulling punches. Like, Andrew Garfield, I don't think he killed people, but I think he started really hurting and, like, destroying people.
I mean, that had to kill somebody. I feel like your head would explode.
In his head, he probably killed, like, Electro, and in his head he killed Gwen. But I like how we gotta talk about their intro scenes first off, where Ned just grabbed it, and he's like, "Oh, I just want to see Peter."
So when that happened and you saw Andrew Garfield down the hallway or down the alleyway, did the theater where you were at go absolutely batshit crazy?
Yes, but here's the thing first. Here's the first thing. No, here's how it went. Aunt May says, "With great power comes great responsibility." I hear like an 8-year-old say, "Yes!" And I'm like, what the fuck? This 8-year-old knows what they're talking. The 8-year-old knows Spider-Man. And then we see, like, down the hallway, but we don't see anything until, like, the spider suit jumps out and then he takes the mask, and then my theater, like, went crazy.
Oh, see, like, it was like the second that you saw him, there was like rumbling. Everybody was like, "Oh, is that? Oh no!" And then he sort of turns, and you can kind of see that it's Andrew Garfield's suit more and more. And everybody was like, "Oh!" It was just, I mean, the whole experience of seeing that in theaters was like one of the best experiences I've had in a theater, because everybody was just going nuts for all the right things. It was awesome.
I just loved it. Like, it was, he takes it off. He's like, "Hi, I'm Peter Parker, Spider-Man. I know I'm not in my world, blah, blah, blah," and just, like, prove it.
That was so fun. I love how
he's like,
suspicious of him MJ was.
Listen, I respect how suspicious you are. I respect it. I get it. This is enough. Like, no, it's not. This is enough. Can you get the spider web up there?
He goes, that was nice of him to do.
Yeah,
I like that he was being so patient. My favorite was that she threw the bread at him, and she was like, "Do you have the tingle?" He's like, "I do, but not for bread."
Not for like, stop throwing bread at me. And then we get then we get the original when he steps through.
Toby, and he was ready. Like, he comes through the portal right away. He's like, oh, I've been waiting for something to happen.
Sorry, I just went through this portal. It's gone. Yeah. It's great. And
because he acknowledged there, right, that he was like he was actively trying to figure out what the hell was going on.
Yeah, well, he's like, I've been trying to find your friend for a long time.
Yeah.
Yada yada. And then like they have the Andrew Garfield, Tobey Maguire spider off very briefly. They just look at each other, web, do the thing. He gets him on the web shooter too.
Yeah, like, well, because he knew to go for the wrist, right?
He knew to go for the wrist. He just didn't know what a web shooter was.
Yeah,
which was great.
And then you get so then later on, as far as like the Spider-Men go, once they have their dramatic interaction where they resolve everything,
they talk about everything they've gone through. We don't skip over that.
All right,
don't skip over that.
So they talk about everything they've gone through, and it's such a great, and it's like I said, that gives such meaning and purpose to their characters being there.
Mm-hmm.
It's just
they're helping him be a Spider-Man, and then they say the line. They say,
it's
"With great power comes great responsibility." And he's like, "What?" He's like, "Uncle Ben told me that the day he died." Yeah, and they went into it. They talk about Uncle Ben to Peter, who probably hasn't talked about Uncle Ben in a while, and I think only Peter lost Aunt May, like Tobey Maguire. He's like, "You lost Aunt May. I get it." They get it, and they're just trying to connect with a version of Peter Parker.
Yeah, I'm sure that Toby's Peter has lost Aunt May somehow by that point. She doesn't die in the movies, but I figured since he is clearly 20 years older.
He's clearly older. Yeah, he still looks good. And,
yeah.
He acts better.
Well, he worked out for this one.
Sam Raimi.
He did act better. I know. I think that the
that's
flatness,
just the tone of the Sam Raimi movies,
exactly.
Right?
I think they were going for that a little bit. It's not really Tobey Maguire's choice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was emotional. And they brought it. Nobody phoned it in. No, you didn't
have to.
They were there for it, like 100%, like into it, and you could tell, and it was so good. Like there was weight to what they were saying because they as actors, I feel like cared about what they were. Oh yeah. What they were delivering in that scene.
But I care more about like the actual like story aspect of it. How like yes, these Spider-Man have gone through shit. They understand you more than anyone else here can. They're trying to help you. They're just trying. They see what you're trying to do. They see what they become if someone wasn't there to help them. So they want to be there for you in this moment. And that comes into play in the last fight, which is so fucking good.
And they know how to get through to him because, of course, they're sort of him.
Yeah, they're Spider-Man. And then we get that awesome scene where they're all just like working on tech stuff. It's like, all right, we got to cure them all.
Yeah.
We're all scientists. Andrew Garfield somehow was able to still keep his lab coat. He found his lab coat somewhere, and he put it on for the movie.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah. And he's like, all right, I've already cured Lizard before, so I got this one. That's easy.
That's right.
I've got it. He started being more Andrew Garfield, and it was super good to see him be that weird, quirky... And he's always been the one in the Amazing Spider-Mans. He's like the quirky, like, talk fast Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm. And the real like get her done fucking science man. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. They really played into that pretty well.
Everybody got to do science things. It was great.
I know.
And then Ned's just. So, do you have a best friend in your universe?
I love they explain that their friends betrayed them, and then Ned goes over to Tom Holland. He's like, I just want you to know I'm not going to become a supervillain and try to kill you.
What's crazy is that like Andrew Garfield didn't mention his Harry Osborn at all. It was just the Tobey Maguire being like, yeah.
Oh, that was an interesting. So it looked like in the trailer for like a split second that the Amazing Spider-Man Harry was going to be in it. There was like
That was just Goblin without his helmet.
Right. That's what and he looked cool. He looked so good.
He had the little thing. I'm like, oh, he's got the hood.
I know.
This is Goblin.
They gave him the hood.
You don't need to look like you don't need a green face when you're Willem Dafoe and that's your face anyway.
I feel like they realized that. They're like, just do your thing.
Willem Dafoe is already creepy. Let's just put a hood on him. And he's just like, It's like, okay. But yeah, it's just like, hey, he died in my arms. And you just see Andrew Garfield go like, dude. Oh. So good. So many good little interactions. I love how somehow, even though Tom Holland's the youngest, Andrew Garfield felt like the younger brother in the entire film.
I know. They were sort of, there were a few digs that like he's like, I'm the third Spider-Man, it's fine. Where they like sort of, they had a couple of digs.
Yeah. No. Listen, I know I'm not that great. No, you're amazing.
I know.
You're amazing.
So then let's talk about that banner scene when they're waiting for the villains to show up.
Good.
That was, okay. And it was the right amount, because if they had done that like the whole movie, it would have gotten to be, you have to move the story along. They appropriately moved the story along and still gave them enough time to do things like the science stuff and then banter like that. And he was so good. That was the best. That was my favorite moment of that scene, when they're describing the villains that they've had to fight, and Tobey Maguire is like, "Oh, I fought an alien made of goo," and Tom Holland is like, "I went into space," and Andrew Garfield is clearly like wounded about his abilities. He's like, "Oh, I'm lame. I fought a Russian in a rhino suit," and he's like, "No, that's self-talk. You gotta just you're amazing."
Thanks. I guess I needed really to hear it, and I'm like, well, why don't you say it? He's like, he can't say it.
It's like the inner monologue that everybody has, just external amongst three people. It's so funny.
Hold on. He's like, oh yeah, we skipped past the scene. It's stupid, but I love talking about it. I was like, oh yeah, we got some web cartridges and stuff like that. Like, what
and the web thing.
He's like, yeah, web cartridges. Oh, I mean, he's like, that stuff comes out of you? Well, how do you make it? Like, is it like, guys, like,
he's like, it's like breathing.
I don't think about breathing.
That was so, yeah. They touched on just, I mean, it was insane how much they touched on just everything. It was a fan service. It was a total fan service. They touched on everything that I wanted them to do. And they did it so well. And that was, so I was looking at reviews of the movie because I was like, I want to see something about it without spoiling it. And there were some negative reviews of it that were like, oh, it's just a fan service. And I was thinking to myself, service me, please. I would love that.
Okay. So final fight scene, right? We go around and we cure everybody. He cures Flint Marko, even though Flint was fine, honestly. But hey,
he really did not want to be Sandman. He wanted to go home to his daughter.
We cure Lizard again, and I like that scene just because Doctor Strange is just like, son of a bitch, he's doing it.
Yeah,
he's saving everybody because this is what Spider-Man does, and it's the realization from Doctor Strange of like, this kid is great. This kid is a real hero, and then we see. Doc Ock helping him. Doc Ock helping him was so good.
And that was such a great, because Electro is a force to be reckoned with. Yes. I mean, it is hard to kill Electro.
Yeah, to trick him.
Exactly. That was the only way that they were going to get out of that. And it was so great for him to be like, I've got them. And then he turns around and just
I've got the power
grabs the
in the palm of my hand. That's such a good scene. We talked about it. And then the fall scene where Goblin knocks Tom Holland away, and MJ is falling, and then Andrew Garfield Spider-Man gets to save her, and he's crying as he realizes he saves her. Like, he did it.
I know.
It's such a redemptive moment. And he's like, are you okay? Like, really worried that, like, fuck, not another spider girlfriend. She's like, yeah, I'm fine. Are you okay?
For 8 years, basically, Gwen Stacy died for no reason, dude. Gwen Stacy died for no reason. They did that movie
because we didn't do a sequel.
I know.
Because we didn't do a sequel. Well, I know. No, she died because you gotta put
I mean, I understand why you would do it, because in the comics, I mean, it's such an impactful...
Well, no, not even in the comics, but like at the end of that movie specifically.
Oh, yeah. No, it was a totally
impactful... keep going and be Spider-Man.
...thing, but... in the context of there being no sequel, it was like, well, there's no payoff for having seen that happen. You see him be like, oh, well, I'm going to continue to be Spider-Man.
That is the payoff.
But you want him to continue to be Spider-Man then, and see what that is like, him dealing with that. So it was, what a redemption that was.
And then we get the final fight between Goblin and Peter is vicious in this fight. Yeah. He's like web kicking shit, does the whole like huge like wrestler like flip. He picks up the glider like he's gonna fucking kill a man.
And that was a great moment for Tobey to step in and sacrifice himself a little bit. He doesn't die, but Tobey Maguire does get stabbed. He does get stabbed by the Green Goblin. And it's such a great... I mean, that's that vulnerability of Spider-Man, right? That he makes that choice to help Tom Holland and hold the thing up, even though it might mean that he is making himself vulnerable to the Green Goblin.
Here's the thing. I love... Not only that do I love that it's Tobey protecting Osborn, right? Because he's... In his head, he's like, I'm saving Harry's dad.
Yeah.
I've thought about this a lot. But it's him stopping another version of himself going down that darker path that he knows has always been bad for him. And it's just that, ugh. And Garfield's just like,
Wait, what was that?
Andrew Garfield has the thing to stab into his neck.
Oh, that's right.
And he didn't do anything during that. He didn't, web up Goblin while Topher Grace was holding back other Peter.
Topher Grace? Don't bring him into this.
I keep on saying Topher Grace. Tobey Maguire's holding it up. It's so good.
So we're running a little long. I guess the only thing that Venom shows up, we talked about the black suit Spider-Man now being in the MCU.
The thing we gotta talk about is how Spider-Man then sacrifices all the memories of Peter Parker because all his other villains were showing up. Yep. So he has Dr. Stephen Strange erase everybody's memories of Peter Parker. This kid doesn't exist anymore. Nobody knows who he is. They know who Spider-Man exists, but Peter Parker, completely no. We see Happy at the grave. That's sad.
Did you see the silhouette of Rhino coming through the multiverse? Because I did.
Yes.
That was pretty neat.
They were all villains.
That moment with Happy at the grave of Aunt May. Peter and Happy meet up at Aunt May's grave, and he clearly does not know who Peter is, but they have a moment where they discuss how great Aunt May is and how her legacy will live on.
Yeah.
And it's the whole treatment of that was pretty cathartic. Just it felt right. It was a little bit of a downer, but it was good.
Yeah. And we see him in his shiny spandex suit. A classic shiny spandex suit was probably definitely influenced by the other two Spider-Man when you think about it. And then we get
he saw those suits and was like, I'm good with that. I thought when they showed the door of his apartment for a split second, I thought that it was going to be the same apartment that Tobey Maguire had.
Let's do it at the end of the month. No, I thought it was going to be the red
Yeah, dude. I was hoping Mr. Ditkovich makes a comeback. And then, so then there's the post-credits with Venom.
And then the post-credits.
Which was sort of a weird little mini,
trailer.
It was like a teaser trailer for Multiverse of Madness, which seemed like, have they done that before, where they have just a legitimate trailer as the...
I think they did it with the Spider-Verse movie. Like at the end of the Spider-Verse movie. No, at the end of one of the Spider-Man movies, the Spider-Verse thing happened.
Oh, okay. I don't remember.
And it was just in another universe, and they showed Spider-Verse.
Yeah, I think you're right. I remember that.
So that trailer, though...
Wanda's there. As Scarlet Witch, which I'm so psyched.
Evil Doctor Strange is there from the fucking multiverse show.
Mm-hmm.
The multiverse show is canon.
Is it? I guess, yeah. Well, because they're setting up all this stuff.
Yeah, and that's the Doctor Strange from that.
I didn't watch any of it.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Whoo! So out of, I'm going to give this movie, I'm going to give it 5 Mary Janes out of It's Pizza Time. It's a good movie. It's my favorite Spider-Man movie. I would see this in the theaters again. I might go see this again.
I might go see it tonight.
Grab Kevin if you don't mind.
Did Kevin see it?
No, he hasn't.
All right. Well, I'll take him. Well, I would give it 5 something of a scientists out of 5 powers of the sun.
In the palm of my hand.
It was a just transcendent fucking experience.
Everything's a transcendent experience with you. So
nothing. That's true. So I will say it is probably one of my favorite movies of all time, which holds no weight because I think I say that about every movie.
I will say that this is one of my favorite movies of all time. But there's some required viewing before it.
Yeah. But I think it's still just as a movie is just really fucking well made. Even if you knew nothing about it, you'd be like, oh, that's kind of neat.
You get the gist of the other Peter Parkers and everything.
Yeah.
You get the gist of the villains.
Yeah, they established it all pretty decently there. But, I mean, and also definitely one of my all-time favorite theatrical experiences. Like, the audience participation and everything was just out of this fucking world. I saw it in IMAX. The theater was fucking massive. And it was...
I saw it at a smaller theater. And there were still some empty seats, and it was lovely. Not to have that many people.
That probably was a smarter move, but here I am.
I mean, Omicron. Anyway, we gotta wrap it up here, guys. Thanks to you once again for
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Thank you, Eric's mom. Thank you.
Thanks, Mom, for listening to our podcast.
My headphones are off. I don't hear anything anybody is saying. Quick, Eric, end the episode.
Call Joe's mom and tell him not to call me stupid anymore.
Shut the fuck up.
I'm gonna have a word. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year doesn't happen. Happy whatever, Boxing Day, Kwanzaa, any way you do it.
Happy holidays, everybody.
Ho ho freaking ho. Goodbye.
Bye.